It's time for Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. We're your hosts this morning. I'm Tina Prigge of Vagabond Creative Studio. This is Kristin Odell of KLO HR and Leadership Consulting. Kristin, so good to see you.
Should I say good morning or should I say arr?
Arr, matey, how be ya this morning?
I'd be great. How about you, matey?
No, it's not International Talk Like a Pirate Day. We're talking like pirates because, Kristin, you introduced us to a fantastic opportunity. We had a great experience for a good cause, and we were pirates while we did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys, last weekend was the, I'm going to say infamous murder mystery dinner at Treehouse Theater right here in Manitowoc. All the proceeds from this event go to support the theater and programming there, which is super cool. And the theme was murder amongst the mateys. Murder amongst the mateys.
And what's so cool is, so Kristin and I are at the same table with a bunch of other cool folks. Actually, I think we've got a table shot here. Look at, okay, this great group of folks. We were a single table, meaning we were a ship. And I had the honor of being the captain, and Kristin was the first mate, and we rocked it. I think that was a great partnership.
It was awesome. And just so you guys know, because Tina and I are strong entrepreneurial females, the ship name we were assigned was the Flying Dutchman, and that can't possibly work for a female-led ship. So we named it the Flying Dutch Lady.
We did, and it was just so much fun. It was fun to just step out of the rigors of daily life and just kind of be in this fantasy moment with good people enjoying a good time.
Yeah, there's something about being in costume that just allows you to be a bit freer than what you would normally be. And this, I love dressing up. Doug does not, obviously, because I dress up for the night and Doug did not. But this
Wait, he was dressed as a shipbuilder, wasn't he?
Loose. Okay. But this even goes back, I think we might have talked about this in high school. I did care clowning where there was a group of us, we would dress up as clowns. This was through Lincoln High School, and we would go to nursing homes and daycare centers and just meetings and all this different stuff and clown around. We made, animal balloons and different things. And again, it's not there's just this veil of costume that allows you to kind of have fun and be somebody a little bit different. So, Tina, you and I rocked it as pirates.
We did. This is not the clown you're talking about, right?
Jason channeling his inner pirate. And we haven't found the best example, but he reminds me of the voodoo guy from, we talked this Princess and the Frog. And I also think there is somebody maybe in the movie Coco that is also channels a little bit of that vibe Jason had going on.
Oh, yeah. And what's cool is, Jason's always been a theater kid too, but he doesn't, as an adult, he doesn't love to get in the costume. So we haven't done Halloween in a number of years. And it was so fun that, you inspired him with this event and he went all out for it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this because Teak also got super in. This was a chance for you to get your son in on the action, right?
Right.
So can you pull up the group picture again? Because I feel like we get a chance to see your costume probably, or maybe that, there you go. So you guys, Tina's son pulled this whole costume together for her. I'm still in awe of him. I just want to give Teak a high five and be way to go, buddy. He nailed it.
Yeah, I was so impressed because I was I don't know. I was kind of feeling like Doug, right? Maybe I don't need to go in costume, right?
Right.
And he's like, no, mom. And he just started kind of going through stuff. And I should clarify, he's a teen, right? So he doesn't get jazzed up about a whole lot, right? He's kind of standoffish as a lot of teens are, but he totally put everything together. He chose the jewelry, told me which ones worked, which pieces didn't work, came up with the little knife that I'm holding, the jacket, the jewelry. You can see there's a key around my neck. He's like, okay, this is Davy Jones' locker key. And then there's a rolled up kind of scroll in my pocket that he put together. And it was a warrant. And, he just really thought it all out. He had a lot of fun, even though he wasn't part of the night.
Right. I'm first of all, I'm impressed with your jewelry stash. Second out, I'm impressed that he knew your jewelry stash well enough or went through it to create the stories. It's so fun.
I think for him, it was almost like a little treasure hunt because I like pulled out boxes from the back of a cabinet, that we never see.
Right. Amazing.
And so, yeah.
It
So I think it
was
was a little fun for him.
yeah, it was really fun. Sorry, I'm trying to mute my messages are still coming through today. Sorry guys, I don't know if you can hear that pinging. It's weird. I'm on do not disturb, but it is disturbing me. It was a blast. We had a great dinner. The Smiling Moose caters for Treehouse, and we had great dinner and just a lot of fun. And I have heard that the Friday night group was extra piratey and loud compared to Saturday night. So I don't know if it was that after work Friday night, like hooah or what it was, but it was fun to walk the plank with you.
I think it was the lady captains.
Probably.
That was so much fun. Hey, I've got something interesting. So my brother is currently living in Germany with his family, and he sent me this picture. This is a mushroom that's growing in his yard, and it kind of blew my mind because I never knew that this was a real mushroom. You know, I've always seen it playing like Mario, right? I've seen it in Alice in Wonderland. I always thought it was like a fantastical creation of just, a standard mushroom. And he
Yes.
sent me this picture, and I was like, wow, I was today years old when I found out that that's a real mushroom.
I've never ever seen anything like that. I love like the vibrant color again in nature. Like it's amazing all the
Yeah.
colors that exist. I want to know how big it is.
Yeah, I know. It looks really big compared to that curb and compared to the pine cone, doesn't it?
Right. Well, and the other thing is like, look at like the most unique spot where it chose to grow, like right along this concrete barrier, or like you said, curbing. So funny, but it's beautiful. It almost looks like a strawberry on top of a stem.
Right. So I'm
Uh,
relieved to know that you weren't familiar with it either. I've seen it in like fantasy and folklore, but
right. Is it an edible mushroom?
haha, apparently it's either poisonous or hallucinogenic, so I wouldn't try it
Okay. Okay. Good to
unless
know.
you're in for that kind of an experience. But
Yeah. Hey, listen, Steven's got a pirate joke up there. I feel like it's Wednesday. It's dreary in Manitowoc today. I'm guessing it's dreary in Fond du Lac. Maybe we just need a pirate joke today.
oh no, you know what? My chat doesn't seem to be working. Something's up with the technology.
Well, then I'm going to say it to you,
Yeah,
Tina.
please do.
Why couldn't the pirate watch the movie?
Why couldn't the pirate watch the movie? I don't know.
Because it was rated R.
That's great. That's great.
I have
Are
a
there
hard
any
time.
other chats that we're missing?
Steven said hello. Pat Walsh said, good morning, young ladies. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning.
I feel
Awesome.
so special. I get to be the official like commenter reviewer today.
You're in charge of the chat today.
I love it. I love it. If I
Hey,
could show the
speaking
chat, I would.
yeah, that would be I wish you had that power. We'll have to figure that out. But speaking of bright colors, you sent this amazing sunset picture.
Yeah. So this was last night, and I don't know if you can grab the other one, but we're driving. Where were we driving? We were driving to go work on Halloween costumes, and the sun was just stunning. And I always like when I see a sunset like this, I always have that old adage: sunset at night, or a sunset, red sky in the morning, sailors take warning, red sky at night, sailors delight. Have you heard that before?
Pirates delight. Yeah.
Pirates delight. So I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, this is stunning. Red sky at night, sailors delight. Like, okay. And it was just so beautiful. And we were driving, and Grace had my phone, so the picture is not great, but you can get the idea. Like, it was amazing. And then there were colored trees and stuff along the way. It just was pretty. We had to snap a quick picture.
Yeah. So what does that mean, sailors delight? That then the next morning is gonna be good weather?
Right? Or the
Or
weather overnight will be sailing. Or I mean, the weather overnight will be good for sailing. Like if there's red sky in the morning, that means there's bad weather coming.
oh, okay.
So, which today is not necessarily sunny, but the winds died down a ton since
Yeah.
yesterday. I mean, it was crazy yesterday, crazy windy.
I
Um,
kept thinking somebody was trying to come in. I'm like, what is at the door? And it was literally the wind.
Yeah. Well, and even I don't know about you guys, but like it felt so drafty yesterday. Like I closed our curtains in our living room and our kitchen just because I felt like the wind was blowing in the house yet last night. It was chilly.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah,
turned
it
your heat
was
on
fun.
yet?
I did.
Did
Did
you?
you?
Yes, I mean, we have it set kind of in auto. So I think if it drops down to like 65, it'll run, but it just can kind of hang in that zone. Doug's a hot body. So like in auto zone, then if it gets up to like 72 in the house and the air conditioning turns on, because I need to honor his body temperature needs also.
So is that why you have such a thick, fluffy sweatshirt on today?
Yeah. Yes. Look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned it on because Jason was actually shivering, and he's usually a warm guy too, so I was like, "Oh, it must be cold."
We tend to like kind of leave it lower though, and then like we turn the other night, not last night, the night before that was Monday. Sorry. I turned the fireplace on just for a little bit to like warm up our living room and then turned it off before bed. And that was just enough to take kind of warm us up and shake the chill out of the air.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't like to keep it too warm. I do love to use a fireplace. Usually I have it so it dials down pretty low at night, so it's nice under the covers, but it's kind of cool outside.
Right. I'm a cold weather sleeper. I like being able to snuggle into blankets or sometimes a hoodie.
Hey, we were talking about beautiful things in nature. This is my favorite little stretch on Union Road. It's got these trees that kind of grow over the road like a canopy. And I drove there the other day with the colors changing. It was just so, I love this spot.
Yes. It looks very peaceful. And I do love how the trees kind of hang over and make kind of a tunnel there. There's other
Kind of
spots in our county that are like that. Like even along, I have to think of what the road is, but it would be the road that kind of goes out to Point Beach. I don't know, is that County Trunk O?
yes, yes.
There are some spots along County Trunk O and into rivers there that have that same kind of really peaceful vibe. The trees are really pretty. Um, the girls this morning, we had a devotional this morning, and it was like, what are the things that God created that you're thankful for? And then what are the things that God created that you're not thankful for? And I said the seasons, like I love how the seasons change and how we get to just like, have that different experience. Two of the girls said the thing that they wish God didn't create was mosquitoes.
They're not wrong.
Right. I agree. Like, good answer. My only answer is, well, mosquitoes are food for a lot of things. So that's kind of like the circle of life, right?
Yeah, but couldn't they be food without being such a nuisance?
Yeah. That's Josie was like, I just hate how itchy it makes you. I was like, yeah, well done, girl. I agree.
They're so smart. I love them.
Yeah. So, friends, if you're driving around and you see a beautiful spot in our community where the trees are just stunning, snap a picture, send it to Coolest Coast. We want to see it.
Yeah, we really do. The trees have been phenomenal. I mean, I feel like the picture I just showed doesn't even show the real colors changing. There are some like fire oranges and reds and golds and
Yes. And I feel like we're getting an exceptional color year. Like
I feel like it too.
I don't know what the conditions are for that. I'm not knowledgeable on tree color changes, but I can tell you that I feel like it's happening gradually and that we're getting to enjoy all the colors, which I don't remember from like last year. I feel like that was different. I felt like the leaves just fell off last year.
Right,
So,
right. They really do seem different year by year. And I feel the same way about this year. I feel like it's really just kind of letting us enjoy it.
yeah. Another spot, if you guys are looking for just like a country drive, if you take County Trunk CR to Silver Creek Road, that goes west, and then that turns into Goss Lake Road, which goes up to 42. It's a windy road, and there is amazing, colorful orange and reds and yellows. But you can kind of see there's some spots that are high up. The elevation's a little bit higher, and you get to kind of look down. Beautiful drive.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great tip. Yes, that's exactly the type of information we want to share. I
Okay,
definitely want to make that drive.
I
Hey,
love
and the salmon were running, and I've, grown up and gone out to Mishicot to see the salmon run. But Teak went down to the river, like close to our house. He's like, "You know, the salmon are running right here." I was like, "Wait, what?" For some reason, I didn't know that they run the river like just near our house. I've got a little video clip. I'm gonna play it. See if you can see the fish.
It's so cool.
And there was just one in that video, but then there was like 50. And I was like, oh, I should have been videotaping, but I just had to just watch. It was one of those like ghost cat moments.
Right. How long ago is that? Like, are they still running? Do you know?
I'm
Is
not
that like
sure. This was about 2 weeks ago.
okay. So cool. Also, so Teak shot that video or you shot the video?
I shot that one.
I was gonna say, Teak really has his parents' artistic eye in like the shot, like the sun is gleaming in. There's even just a little bit of rainbow from the lens reflection in there. Like, dang, Teak, just Tina all along.
But I do love that he's kind of in touch with things happening in nature and
Yes.
enough so that he mentioned it. Like even last night, he came into my I was already asleep and he's like, "Mom, I hear something outside." And we like listened together and we figured out it was foxes in the distance.
Seriously.
Yeah, you know the song "What Does the Fox Say"? I always thought, this is so embarrassing, but I thought that song was funny because foxes were quiet. I didn't realize foxes actually like, barked and screamed.
Yes. Yes. Okay, give us your best impersonation of what you heard last night.
It sounded like a couple of women kind of scream laughing in the distance, and I can't give you
Come on, I'm gonna be so sad if I don't hear this today. Okay, it's not audio. We'll try to find a video for next week. We'll tell you what does a fox actually say. Next week on Kristin with Tina, you get to hear what the fox actually said.
That's too funny. Okay, but this week on Kristen and Tina, Kristen, what is this?
This is Sunday big lunch in the making. We had family over on Sunday for the Packer game, and I had leftover mashed potatoes, and I whipped up potato dumplings, which is a very German, kind of Eastern European thing. I don't know, Tina. I would suspect since your family knows kolaches, they probably also know potato dumplings. I don't know. But this
I
is a
really know. Tell me more.
they're so amazing. You need mashed potatoes to make potato dumplings. So that's like the trigger. Now I had mashed potatoes left over from something else. And then I just, because we ended up having a couple more people than I thought, I picked up just like Bob Evans onion and chive mashed potatoes, like from the grocery store to add to what I had because I was going to need more. But you basically like, it's a cup of mashed potatoes. And then for every cup of mashed potatoes you add a cup of flour, an egg, and a teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
So in my case, I had 9 cups of mashed potatoes because when we make dumplings, we make dumplings.
You make the dumplings.
Right. So these are just to like give you an idea. Like they're probably about like this big. Some of them are a little bit, some are more like golf size by, but a good bite. And you roll them into little balls like that, and then you boil them for like 20 minutes, and they kind of get firm in the middle. Imagine just like a really big dumpling like you would have in soup, but even more.
Wow. So you
And
don't dip it in anything, it's not coated in something. You fry it just like we see in this picture?
boil it. You
Oh,
boil them
boil.
for 20 minutes, and then they're ready to eat. Now, in my family, we always brown butter and eat them with brown butter on, which is burnt butter. So good. So we had pork tenderloin with that, and sweet and sour red cabbage, and beets, and corn. It was so
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so going back to the dumplings, so then you take it out of the boiling water and you serve it on the plate just like that, like it's not in a sauce, it's not in a soup or anything.
I cut them up, and then you drizzle brown butter over the top. And then I love like a bite of pork, a bite of dumpling, a little bit of sweet and sour cabbage or sauerkraut, and then the brown butter and the dumpling. And you
Mm.
just eat it all up because it's so good.
Yeah, it really sounds good. So what's it like in the middle? Is it kind of like bready or like still mashed potatoey or
Like if you've ever had good homemade chicken dumpling soup, you have the little dumplings and they're like firm and you have just that little bit of chew in the middle. It's just
mm,
a bigger version of that, but even more delicious.
how long do you boil them for?
Like 18 to 20 minutes.
How do you know when they're done? Do they float?
They do float. I cut them in half to see if they've gotten firm. But so I had 2 pots of boiling water, big pots of boiling water going on Sunday to get through all the dumplings we were gonna eat, but we like, it's kind of a tradition to make so many that you have leftovers because they're so delicious. The other thing my grandma Zip used to do is then as leftovers, she would slice them up in, like, little half moons and then fry them in butter in a frying pan, and then they get, like, crunchy on the outside, but the middles are still soft. And so
Yeah.
that's good with eggs or a burger or by itself.
Yeah. Hey, mom, if you're watching this, let's try this recipe. This sounds pretty tasty.
We could even make it together sometime, but
Yeah.
my mom just commented, "So, so good." She was a benefactor of, the dumpling making on Sunday morning. I had to call her and be like, "Mom, I know that it's 1 cup of mashed potatoes to 111, but I don't remember the 111." She said, "I got you. Here it is."
Aw, moms are the best, aren't they?
They are the best. So, and Steven said, "Is it gnocchi?" Similar. It's kind of like we were just talking on Sunday about, there's a lot of even spatzel would be similar to this, just smaller, and that's kind of drips into boiling water. It's kind of in the same family. Gnocchi would be the Italian kind of version of this, but I think gnocchi's a little bit more delicate. These are more firm. Like there's definitely like a bite in the middle of that where gnocchi I think kind of melts in your mouth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, yum, Kristen. And I don't know if it's because it's so close to Halloween, but the way you described like the 2 big boiling pots, I have this vision of you going like double, double, toil and trouble.
Oh, maybe it was maybe that. But you can see like there's flour all over the counter but this is like good stick to your ribs food also, right? Like dumplings and pork and like that's kind of the kind of stuff I feel like we need to eat in fall to beef up for the winter.
Yeah, and pie.
And pumpkin pie. Actually, that looks really good. Is this just
Thanks.
plain regular old pumpkin pie?
Regular old pumpkin pie, but it is homemade. I made the crust even from my mom's recipe. She helped me cut the pumpkin, boiled it down, so I didn't even use a can of pumpkin.
Nice. Very fancy. My mom made a new dip on Sunday, and it's a can of pumpkin, a block of cream cheese softened that you whip together, and then there was like kind of a strudel topping, like brown sugar and oats and flour with butter, and you just bake it, and then you eat it with like cinnamon graham crackers or ginger snaps.
What?
It was also very good. I know.
So more sweet than savory?
It's
Kind
sweet,
of,
definitely a sweet thing, but like our girls chowed it down. They thought it was so good.
yeah, nice. Your mom's
Yeah,
got some cooking skills.
she does. She's like, "Oh, I saw this online last night. I decided to whip it up." I was like, "You're hilarious."
I did whip up a lemon pound cake because I woke up one morning and I saw it online. I'm like, I think I need to make this today.
Yes, lemon.
But poor Jason, I think he had to go to the store 3 times for me. I was making the recipe. I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I need this." And then he's like, "Okay." And he went to the store again. I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I also need." So I felt really bad because I wasn't prepared.
He's the best.
He is the best.
He's the best. Actually, Grace made pistachio cupcakes on Saturday night, which we had on Sunday also, but we ran out of vanilla. So she used the vanilla to make the cupcakes, and she's like, "We don't have any vanilla to make the frosting now for Sunday." So Doug and I did a late night Meyer run to get vanilla for the next morning.
Okay, so I
Of
don't feel
course.
bad. I'm not the only one out of ingredients.
No, no, not at all.
Hey,
So,
Halloween is coming up soon. I saw that trick or treating is on Monday, October 31st. Are the
yes.
girls still of an age? Like, will they go trick or treating? Are they excited about it?
We totally do trick or treating. I'm not ever gonna stop. Like Grace is 13. She can trick or treat as long as she wants. Anytime, like, there's something warm, like there's good memories for me around trick or treating, like getting a herd of kids together and adults and walking around. And when I was a kid, it was always in the afternoon in Manitowoc. Like we did it
Mhm.
a lot of times during the Packer game. Now it's at night. I think it's just so exciting. So yes, we will trick or treat. We're totally going to go out and do all the things. A lot of time we do get together. We go to my mom and dad's house for dinner, and my mom makes spooky things for dinner. So, um,
Fun. I've seen a lot of fun decorations going up around town too.
yes, I agree. My mom just joked. I need to retract one statement. My oldest and my youngest ate the pumpkin dip with joy. My middle, she said she would only eat it she would only eat the dip if it was the last thing on earth. Uh,
Wow. Wow.
the things that kids say, it's so complimentary.
No, it's interesting because it's like taste is so subjective too, right? There are so many opinions that are just subjective.
Right,
So two of the girls loved it. One of the girls hated it. Like it's the same thing, right? Like that's so interesting.
right, and here's the other thing, like, the middle one eats pumpkin pie. So I'm like, and cream cheese, by the way. I don't know, I don't get
Yeah.
it. Like, whatever, don't eat it then. It's
Mm.
fine with me, more for us, move on.
Yeah, right, right. Hey, you also sent this graphic. Before we have to go, let's talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, you guys, so I don't know what it is, but this has just been coming up. I've given this probably to like 3 or 4 local business leaders just in the last couple of weeks. I think it's a changing of the season. I think it's kids going back to school. There's just something where we're kind of recalibrating right now. Maybe it's the push into Christmas. I don't know. But time management seems to just be on the top of everybody's list. And I'll selfishly say this is not mine. I stole it off the internet. You're welcome. But this is a good one. It's a good reminder. So on the left, we have not important and important. And the top, we have urgent and not urgent. And so if we look at this, the urgent and important, we need to do it right now. These are, I would say immediate fires that need to be addressed or need attention. Um, Not urgent, but important. We want to make time for it. And this really should be where we spend the majority of our time, especially as it pertains to work, learning. I shouldn't say that. This is probably not the case for everybody, but for a lot of people, learning, development, thinking about the future, all of that kind of stuff. We're thinking about leadership with employees and trying to give employees the best experience. This is where the leadership wants to spend their time because we want to be thoughtful about what we're doing. And if we're going to be thoughtful, we have to make sure we take time to do it. Then we go to the bottom left corner, which is it's urgent, but not important. And this is where we say we delegate this off. Now, sometimes this can be you are planned and ready to go, but somebody else wasn't as planned and ready to go as you. And now they're interjecting something that is urgent for them that's not urgent for you anymore. That would be an example. But finding a way to delegate it off or have somebody do it is a good thing. And then last but not least, we have not urgent and not important. And if it's not urgent and also not important, we need to kick that stuff off the to-do list and say, no, we're just not going to spend time there.
Right. Right. It's such a good reminder. It's a good reminder that things can be prioritized and
Yes.
we don't have to do everything.
Yeah. And not only that, but like one of the conversations I had yesterday was just about like healthy boundaries. Like, are you killing yourself over stuff that doesn't matter? And if you're grinding and grinding and grinding and you're grinding on stuff that's not actually effective or meaningful or whatever, like doesn't get you excited, then it's time to like relook at like what's really on that list. So anything hit
Yeah.
home for you, Tina, on that quadrant thing?
I think that the not important but urgent, like the delegating, is important. And often feel like I have to do it all and try to do it all.
Mhm.
And that's such an important reminder that not only is it okay, but I should be doing more of that.
Right. And I think the good question to ask yourself with those is this urgent for me or is this an urgency for somebody else? And that sometimes helps, like, should I be working on this or should somebody else be working on this? So,
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing the knowledge with us. Wow, you guys, it is already 9 o'clock. It is October 19th, which I can't believe time is just. But anyway, so we'll leave you with a final little one up to get you through your day.
I love it. I'm also going to say I'm using Packer cups all this week because they played so terrible last weekend that I am choosing to spend positive Packer power into the universe for the game this weekend.
Positive Packer power. Woo, let's go. All right, you
Arr.
guys. All right, mateys. Thank you so much for watching Coffee with Kristin and Tina. We are your pirates today. Kristin Odell of KLO, Tina Prigge of Vagabond Creative. We'll see you next time on Coffee with Kristin and Tina.